The other day, I was walking at the park when my shoe came untied. Not exactly a life-changing event, but as I bent down to tie it, I noticed something. I wasn't quite as steady as I used to be. Walking wasn't the problem. Standing wasn't the problem. But balancing, bending over, and doing something a little awkward wasn't quite as effortless as I remembered. I tied my shoe and kept walking, but it stayed in my mind. The funny thing about getting older is that most changes don't happen all at once. You don't wake up one morning and suddenly feel old. It's usually little things, small moments, tiny reminders. And if we're paying attention, those moments can teach us a lot. The untied shoelace got me thinking about some mistakes I see people making in their 50s and 60s. Truthfully, some of these mistakes I've made myself. The first mistake is assuming everyday movement is enough. I walk a lot. I go to the park, I run errands, I move around the condo, so naturally I assumed I was staying active. But walking in a straight line isn't the same thing as maintaining strength, flexibility, and balance. After my knee replacements, physical therapy had me doing exercises that seemed almost silly at the time. Standing on one leg, squats, stretching, balance drills, getting up and down repeatedly. At the time, I thought the goal was simply to get my knees working again. But looking back, I think those exercises were preparing me for something much bigger. They were helping me keep movements that naturally disappear if we stop doing them. The reality is, most of us rarely stand on one leg anymore. We rarely squat down to pick something up. We rarely stretch. We rarely challenge our balance. Yet those are exactly the movements that help us remain independent as we age. The second mistake is becoming too comfortable. Retirement is supposed to be comfortable. After decades of working, most of us look forward to the day when nobody tells us what time to get up or where we have to be. And that's one of the great benefits of retirement. But comfort can slowly become a trap. It's comfortable to stay at home. It's comfortable to sit in the recliner. It's comfortable to postpone things until tomorrow. The problem is, tomorrow has a way of turning into next week, then next month, then next year. I've noticed that the retirees who seem happiest aren't necessarily the ones doing extraordinary things. They're simply doing something. They have a reason to get up, a reason to leave the house, a reason to stay engaged. The third mistake is letting technology quietly take over your day. I realized recently that even my television habits have changed. Years ago, if a new show came out, you'd watch an episode and then wait a week for the next one. Now I do the opposite. I won't even start a series until the entire season is available. Then I sit down and I watch several episodes in a row. Sometimes an entire afternoon disappears. The scary part isn't that I'm watching television. The scary part is how easy it is. Streaming services, YouTube, social media, and endless content make it possible to sit for hours without even noticing. Before retirement, work naturally interrupted that behavior. Now nobody is interrupting it. Nobody is telling us to get up, although my watch does tell me to move if I've been sitting too long. Nobody is telling us it's time to move. We have to do that ourselves. The fourth mistake is ignoring small warning signs. That shoelace moment wasn't a problem. It was information. There's a difference. A lot of people wait until they have a serious issue before making changes. A fall, a health scare, a diagnosis. But often the clues show up years earlier. Maybe you're a little less flexible. Maybe your balance isn't what it's used to be. Maybe stairs feel harder. Maybe getting up from the floor takes a little more effort. Those aren't reasons to panic. They're reasons to pay attention. Small adjustments made today are usually easier than major adjustments made later. The fifth mistake is believing you'll always have more time. This month marks 10 years since I quit my job. 10 years. When I say it out loud, it doesn't seem possible. I can still remember that day. I can remember selling the house. I can remember downsizing. I can remember wondering what retirement would look like. Yet somehow 10 years have passed. One thing retirement has taught me is that time doesn't slow down. If anything, it speeds up. You start measuring life differently. You realize that 10 years isn't some distant period of time anymore. It's a chapter that can disappear before you know it. That's why I think putting things off becomes more dangerous as we get older. Not just because we won't survive, because opportunities quietly disappear. The trip we wanted to take, the friend we wanted to visit, the hobby we wanted to learn, the project we wanted to start. The perfect time rarely arrives. The sixth mistake is thinking retirement is the finish line. I think many people spend 40 years working toward retirement. Then they arrive and feel like the race is over. But retirement isn't the finish line. It's just a different chapter. You still need goals. You still need changes. You still need things to look forward to. That doesn't mean starting a business or climbing mountains. It might mean walking every day, learning something new, helping family, volunteering, traveling, creating, building relationships. The specific activity doesn't matter nearly as much as staying engaged with life. When I read comments from retirees, I often notice the same pattern. The happiest people aren't talking about money. They're talking about purpose. They're talking about staying active. They're talking about having reasons to get out of bed each morning. The people who struggle the most often describe drifting, days blending together. Too much television, too much sitting, not enough connection, not enough movement, not enough purpose. The older I get, the more I think that's the real challenge. Not retirement itself, it's staying involved in your own life. The Untied Shoelace reminded me of something important. Aging doesn't always announce itself with a major event. Sometimes it whispers. A little less balance, a little less flexibility, a little more sitting, a little less movement. The good news is those small reminders give us an opportunity. The opportunity to make adjustments before they become problems. And that's exactly what I intend to do. Because as long as I'm able, I'd rather be out walking in the park than sitting on the sidelines watching life go by. I'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed any small changes as you've gotten older that made you stop and think? Maybe it's balance, flexibility, energy levels, or perhaps something completely different. Share your experience in the comments because some of the best conversations on this channel come from hearing what other retirees are noticing and learning. And if you know someone in their 50s or 60s who might benefit from hearing this message, please share this video with them. Sometimes a simple reminder at the right time can make a real difference. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more conversations about retirement, aging, and making the most of this stage of life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.